Something unusual is happening in the Middle East, and the world is watching closely. Reports suggest that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was absent from a critical security meeting at one of the most sensitive moments in recent regional history. At the same time, unverified rumors began spreading online about his condition, rumors that sparked confusion, concern, and intense speculation across social media platforms worldwide. And then, in the middle of all of this, Netanyahu made a statement that stopped analysts in their tracks, a reference to the possible return of the Messiah. What is actually going on? What do these events mean? And why does any of this matter to the rest of the world? Stay with me, because in the next 15 minutes, we are going to break all of this down carefully, clearly, and based only on verified reports and public information. To understand why these recent events are making headlines, we first need to understand the broader context. The Middle East has been experiencing a sharp escalation in regional tensions over the past several months. Relations between Israel and Iran have reached a particularly critical point, with both nations exchanging threats and the international community closely monitoring every development. Iran is widely regarded as one of the most significant strategic challengers to Israel in the region. Over recent years, both nations have been involved in a shadow conflict, involving cyber operations, proxy forces, and political pressure. But in recent weeks, reports have indicated that this tension has moved into a more direct and dangerous phase. It is within this backdrop that the stories we are about to discuss unfolded when a major world leader is reported absent from a critical security meeting during a crisis of this magnitude. People take notice. Governments, intelligence agencies, allied nations, and ordinary citizens all begin asking the same question: what is happening behind closed doors? That question became even more urgent when online rumors began circulating, suggesting something far more serious had occurred. According to publicly circulating reports, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was reportedly absent from an important security meeting during a period of heightened military and diplomatic tension with Iran. Now, it is important to be precise here. Governments do not always disclose the full details of who attends internal security meetings. Leaders can be absent for a wide range of reasons: health, prior commitments, delegation of authority, or strategic choices about how decisions are made. However, in a climate this tense, any reported absence draws significant attention. Political analysts and observers noted that this was not an ordinary moment. With reports of an Iranian strike circulating, the optics of a leader being absent from the room where decisions are being made raised immediate questions. Opposition voices within Israel reportedly used this absence to question the prime minister's leadership at a critical time. Supporters, on the other hand, pushed back, suggesting the reports were incomplete or politically motivated. What makes this situation more complex is that Netanyahu himself has been navigating significant domestic political pressure in addition to the external security crisis. His government has faced ongoing debates about judicial reforms, coalition stability, and public trust. The reported absence, therefore, did not occur in a vacuum. It landed in an already charged political environment. The key takeaway here is this: whether the absence was routine or significant, the timing meant it was never going to go unnoticed. Now let us turn to what many people found most alarming and the online rumors. Following reports of an Iranian strike, social media platforms were flooded with unverified claims suggesting that Netanyahu had been seriously harmed or had passed away. These claims spread rapidly, shared by thousands of accounts across multiple platforms. This is an important moment to pause and discuss something critical: the nature of information in the digital age. Unverified rumors about the death or serious injury of a world leader are not new. In times of conflict or crisis, misinformation spreads at extraordinary speed. Sometimes these rumors are organic, born from confusion and incomplete information. Other times they can be deliberately seeded as part of information warfare strategies designed to create panic, test responses, or destabilize public confidence. In this case, no official confirmation from the Israeli government, allied nations, or credible international news agencies supported the claims circulating online. Official Israeli government channels continued to function. Statements continued to be issued. There was no confirmation of any event that would support the rumors. Analysts who study information warfare have noted that during periods of military escalation, false information about leadership figures is a known tactic. It can serve to gauge public reactions, spread confusion among enemies, or simply exploit the natural anxiety that people feel during a crisis. The responsible approach, and the approach we are taking here, is to report that these rumors existed, that they spread widely, and that they were not confirmed by any credible official source. As always, during any developing situation, it is essential to rely on verified, established news sources rather than social media speculation. Now we come to what may be the most discussed moment of all, Netanyahu's reference to the possible return of the Messiah. During remarks connected to the ongoing conflict with Iran, Netanyahu reportedly made a statement that referenced this concept. The statement immediately generated significant debate both inside Israel and internationally. So what did this statement actually mean? Political analysts who study Israeli politics and rhetoric were quick to weigh in. The dominant view among analysts is that this statement was political rhetoric, a way of communicating strength, resolve, and historical significance, rather than a literal theological declaration. In Israeli political culture, religious and historical references are frequently woven into public speeches, particularly during moments of national security crisis. Leaders invoke the long history of the Jewish people, the significance of the State of Israel, and the weight of historical challenges that have been overcome. This kind of language is designed to rally domestic support, signal determination to adversaries, and frame the current conflict within a larger historical narrative. However, the statement was also interpreted differently by different audiences. Some religious communities heard it in a more literal context. Some international observers found it striking given the military situation. Critics argued that invoking such language during an active security crisis could be inflammatory or could complicate diplomatic efforts. Others argued that Netanyahu was speaking to his domestic base and that the statement should be understood entirely within that political context. What is clear is that the statement drew significant attention and sparked a genuine debate about the intersection of religion, politics, and conflict in one of the world's most sensitive regions. Stepping back from the specific events, it is worth considering what all of this tells us about the broader situation. Israel and Iran represent one of the most significant geopolitical rivalries in the world today. Both nations have deep historical, ideological, and strategic reasons for their conflict. Iran has, on multiple occasions, made statements about its position toward Israel. Israel has responded with both diplomatic and military measures. What makes the current moment particularly important is the degree to which this conflict has moved from the shadows into more open territory. When nations begin exchanging strikes, even limited ones, the risk of miscalculation rises sharply. The international community, including the United States, European nations, and regional powers, is watching every development carefully. For ordinary people living in the region, this is not an abstract geopolitical debate. It is a daily reality that shapes their security, their economy, and their futures. For the rest of the world, the stakes are also significant. Energy markets, global security arrangements, and international alliances are all connected to stability in the Middle East. A major escalation between Israel and Iran would have consequences far beyond their borders. This is why the events we have discussed today, the reported absence from a meeting, the online rumors, and the Messiah statement, all attracted global attention. They are not isolated news stories. They are pieces of a much larger and very consequential puzzle. So where does all of this leave us? The situation between Israel and Iran remains one of the most closely watched developments in global affairs right now. The reported absence of Netanyahu from a key security meeting raised questions about decision-making during a crisis. The online rumors, unconfirmed and unverified, reminded us of how quickly misinformation can spread in the digital age. And the Messiah statement sparked an important debate about the role of religious and historical rhetoric in modern political leadership. None of these events exist in isolation. Together, they paint a picture of a moment of significant tension, both in the region and within the information environment that surrounds it. Our responsibility as people who consume news and information is to approach each of these stories with careful critical thinking, to ask, what is confirmed? What is speculation? Who is saying it and why? What context am I missing? That kind of thoughtful, informed engagement with the news is more important than ever. We will continue to monitor this situation and bring you updates as verified information becomes available. As always, we encourage you to consult multiple established news sources for the latest developments. Thank you for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, please share it with someone who wants to understand what is happening in this region. Stay informed, stay critical, and we will see you in the next video. Disclaimer: this content is for informational purposes only and is based on publicly available reports and discussions circulating online. Please consult established news sources for further updates and verified information.